lot of these kids are going ham. I'm talking about really making a lot of money with clothes off their first drops. And they just get it. They got it. They understand it already. And clothing is the biggest feat in the world, I think, because everybody has to have it.
Be anywhere, but when I leave, you can remember I said with the last words on my lips that I am
educated, man, because he was self-educated. A lot of people don't understand what self-education will do for you.
One of the lies that we tell ourselves is that we are making progress. We tend to equate progress with concessions. We can no longer make that mistake. See, it's no in-between. You're either free or you're a slave. There's no such thing as second-class citizenship. But a lot of you running around talking about you Democrats, and the Democrats got you in the biggest trick going. When black people become serious about the revolutionary struggle that they are caught up in, whether they recognize it or not, when they begin to go down and knock off people who are oppressing them, that's when the revolutionary struggle unfolds. Not until.
Power to the Panthers podcast, where we're here to educate, regulate, and demonstrate. Educate the youth, regulate the truth, and demonstrate the proof. And today, family, I got a special guest with me. And my brother, Phi Chief, we go back a ways, my brother. I first linked with my brother out here in Seattle. I moved out here to Seattle in about 2018. And then I think it was either 2018 or 2019. I linked with my brother because he started actually working at a pot shop, marijuana dispensary out here in Seattle. And me and my brother, just linking up, understanding, just introduction to the cannabis industry, being, it had just started being legalized. Me and my brother was just learning the ins and outs, just the interest of it, So it's just interesting how me and my brother started linking, just coming from, the background. You was coming from Georgia out here to Seattle for a little bit. Did your thing, and working at that pot shop, had its goods and its bads, but, we here now and we moving. And ever since then, my brother has been doing his clothing line. You see it right here, Couch Kush. You see it. So my brother has his own clothing line on as well. So family, this is going to be an action-packed episode. We're going to be breaking it down because family, I know I emphasize a lot of the education, a lot of the, I do videography, just from the media perspective. But family, even from my perspective, my own background, I started even making clothes when I was in high school. Some kid was asking me to make clothes. I was going to Fordham Road out in the Bronx, making clothes, selling it. So my background actually comes from, creating clothes as well. Just, not seeing some of the clothing that I wanted to see from my perspective, like Egyptian symbols, things of that nature. So then I said to myself, my father told me, well, go out and create what you want to see on those clothes if you don't see them already. And my brother has been literally cultivating, because my brother's brand is Organic GrOath, that OG. If you rocking that OG, Organic GrOath means that ain't nothing artificial about what my brother is doing. Is straight from the roots, grassroots, and that's how we got to do as black folks. Come from the grassroots, trust me, that's what a revolution is, and that's what we're here to talk today, is revolution. And we're going to do it through a perspective of clothing, too, as well, because my brother's here to drop that knowledge. So without any further ado, family, I'd like to welcome you, Howard, to the my brother, Phi Chief.
What's up?
Let him know, give him a real quick who you are, my brother.
Yeah, basically, go by the name of Phi Chief. Like he said, I'm from Georgia, Macon, Georgia, not Atlanta. We're like an hour down south, an hour south of Atlanta. Yeah, man, like you say, the vision with the clothes, I started basically like in 2005, kind of made like a t-shirt, you know what I'm saying? It was actually for a friend of mine who had just killed a police officer. And they put him on the front page of the newspaper. So I took that picture, put it on the shirt, and his last name was Fair. Well, his last name is Fair because he's still with us or whatever. But I put freedom is fair. And basically the shirt sold out the first day. And I didn't really take it as serious as I should have. Like you say, I was young, you know what I'm saying? When you're young, you really don't, you ain't really thinking like like you probably should. So I wasn't thinking that it could be what it has grown to be today, you know. But yeah, man, I like to do my thing, keep it going, you know, keep it pushing for the people who like to represent themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, sometimes I wasn't seeing on the clothes what I wanted to see, so I started putting it together so it could better fit me, and it started benefiting other people as well. So here we are.
How did you change the way you viewed life after reading Huey Newton's book, Revolutionary Suicide?
It was a while back, but reading it and just knowing the type of person he basically made himself from the things that he was going through, the things that he was seeing. To know that he was illiterate for such a long time and basically taught himself how to read, taught himself how to do a lot of things, and that created, to the white man would say, a monster, you know what I'm saying? But it created a very educated man because he was self-educated. A lot of people don't understand what self-education will do for you, because it's basically what you want to learn. It's not what someone is giving you to learn. You're going to seek the knowledge yourself. So, you know, after seeing what he did, or just reading what he did, and, you know, going through what he went through as a Panther, and him being the leader that he was, but stepping to the side to allow Bobby to do what he had to do, because he knew that Bobby, you know, was a better speaker, I guess. That was the part that kind of just really stuck with me the most. You know what I'm saying? That takes a lot to know that you're a person that creates something, but also realize when another person is, you know, good enough to make what you're trying to do really get to the masses. And yeah, man, I mean, basically, I stick with that to this day. My whole thing, what I'm creating now, I'm basically making it to where the youth, I'm doing it hopefully to show the youth that, hey, you don't just have to play basketball, you don't just have to rap, you don't just have to do like the stereotypical thing, you know what I'm saying? And as far as OG is organic growth. I don't want them to feel like it always got to be original gangster, you know what I'm saying, or something negative, you know what I'm saying? So we spinning it around and making it make sense.
Yeah, no different like how they changed the word dope. I mean, when you think of dope, you might think of drugs, but when we use dope, a lot of times you're talking about something cool, something the emphasis on it. So, and even look at the word nigga. A word like nigga that has been used against us for so long, we then use that word and used it as a term of endearment. Now, whether or not everybody has accepted that as a term of endearment, that's neither here nor there, but just the concept that we're always trying to flip a negative and make it to a positive. And I believe that a lot of the people in our community, such as the drug dealers, such as the gangbangers, the pimps, the prostitutes, I feel like if they took the mentality that they had and the knowledge that they had and flipped that to a positive, just imagine where we could go. There's a lot of our brothers locked up in the system right now that if their mindset had been shifted from, a street mentality and translated into maybe of a business mentality, there's no telling where they could have ended up. And that's why they systematically do the types of things they do to us, because they know what happens when we have the tools and the funds to do what we need to do as a people. So it's just a good sight to see that, the pushing of the concepts that we once looked at as like, original gangster. And even when we think about the concepts of original gangster, like the conversation around the Black Panther, those were the OGs. When we look at Marlon Brando, who played the Godfather, he was, before he got involved in, becoming one of the most iconic mobsters in, movie history, he was out there with Bobby, riding for the movement at Bobby Hutton's funeral. So when we understand that even the people that portrayed and played and understood certain facets of the gangster lifestyle, the Italian mobsters, they also understand in real life, the Black people fighting for the revolution, they the OGs. How can a person revolutionize clothing through their designs?
I would say basically, it's really the best way to revolutionize anything. Like, you see it when what all you got to do is get people to like it. Once they like it, they want it. They get into it. It becomes something that kind of creeps up on people. Before they know it, they're in a building and everybody got on a shirt that kind of say the same thing, even if it doesn't say the same thing. And we as Black people, we could always understand that if we pushing out the right message through whatever we're doing, it's gonna come back the right way. You know, sometimes some brands, you know what I'm saying, nothing against them, but it's just about putting a little more thought into it. Once you put a little more thought into it, you might be like, oh, that's crazy, versus just putting AK-47 and the craziest thing you can think of on, you know what I'm saying? Like, put a little thought into it and make your brand last. Make it to where you can walk your brand into any building and feel comfortable about it. So yeah, like, the revolution is definitely coming through clothing, regardless if we want to or not, you know? I mean, I feel like just the patterns themselves, you know what I'm saying? If you pick the right patterns, like, say for gangs in LA, you know what I'm saying? If they chose, okay, the Crips, we gonna represent a certain thing that we're really trying to revolutionize versus killing each other. They could, you know what I'm saying? They can go right there with the patterns of the put it on their clothes a certain way and show people, oh, we ain't the regular Crips. We the Crips that do this. You know what I'm saying? Or the same thing for Bloods or any gang throughout the U.S. culture. They don't have to really do it that way. It's just, you know, I guess they feel so knee deep in it with the bloodshed that's happened in the past, but that's kind of something we can't handle the past. You know what I'm saying? You can't do nothing about the past. You can just only better the future. So to answer your question, man, yeah, you can just do your thing. Clothing is the biggest speech in the world, I think, because everybody has to have it. So once you put the right thing on it, push it the right way, you can have the president with your clothes on in their free time.
Being a fashion designer, what is the number one key to success as it relates to patience?
What you do today is definitely going to affect the future through compounded interest. So if you're patient and you continue at what you're doing and you're continuing to learn and you're continuing to, you know what I'm saying, get better at whatever it is you're choosing to do. And for me, it's been clothing. My patience has got me where I am. At one point, you helped me get something embroidered. I knew no one to get anything embroidered. I only knew how to get stuff screen printed on T-shirts. But I didn't throw a fit. You know what I'm saying? I just paid attention to everything that was around me. I saw you coming to work with the, you know what I'm saying, with all your exclusive customized gear. So I was like, okay, let me ask him. Even though we're way on the West Coast, you got it done way on the East Coast for me. You know what I'm saying? I was patient. You feel me? I was patient enough to wait for it to be done, and I got it done. You got it done for me, and it was all good. If I wasn't patient, I would have been like, oh, man, fuck it. And I probably would have even given up on clothing altogether, which is what I do every day, you know? So who knows what I'd be doing today if I didn't have my patience for learning more for it, you know, with it.
Yep, yeah.
If that makes sense.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I definitely second that. Like, patience it becomes, I mean, it's not easy to do, but once you get into the flow of things and you start to see the results of what being patient leads you, it's worth being patient. Like, even if you in a rush somewhere and you want to get out, let's say you driving, you trying to make a turn, and all of a sudden there's a car coming, you get into an accident. Now you might be an hour, 2 hours.
Now you're gonna be there for a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, you could have been patient for 30 seconds, maybe a minute, and avoided all of that. But the impatientness now caused you to even lose more than the time you thought you were wasting by just having to sit there and not be patient.
Exactly.
So that's definitely key, my brother. Definitely, definitely. How can young Black youth innovate fashion for the next generation?
Honestly, bro, I feel like they're already doing it. I don't think I could really tell them nothing because I'm learning so much from them. You feel me? I mean, I would just say, go back to the last question that you asked me, which is the patience part. Have patience if you're not already getting it. But man, a lot of these kids are going ham. I'm talking about really making a lot of money with clothes off their first drops, and they just get it. They got it. They understand it already. So yeah, I would just say definitely stay patient, man. It's they run the future already. When it comes to clothing, I look up to them for real.
Nah, yeah, that's true. That's true. That definitely, because just the young people, they just innovating all the time, just with all the different designs. And then now, if we can take that and shift that in a revolutionary way, you know, it's endless. Like I grew up seeing all, like you were saying about putting pictures on shirts. Just growing up in New York, especially being in Harlem and seeing all of the stuff they were doing. How they had like pictures of Pac on hoodies, pictures like just growing up seeing all of that, and then just like the different places you go, like Michaels and all these different arts and crafts places that starting off just iron letters, ironing, words, your name onto different clothing. It's just, that's just even how I started. So just knowing that, starting with something that is always going to lead you to a path of some type of creation. Because I might not still be doing clothing now, but in doing just the videography, just that visual, like we were talking about off camera about being, you can visualize it, you can actualize it, and especially in clothing, because you have to visualize it, then put it on, paper, and then make it happen.
Yeah,
So the
yeah. It
connection.
don't nowadays, man. They got a cheat code. It's a lot of people they selling designs to where you just put your brand name right there. That's crazy. They made that a whole industry, man, like overnight. But yeah, I mean, even that, I guess it has a certain what you call it to it. But yeah, you definitely got to visualize it, man. If you don't see it, it ain't gonna look like nothing.
I know that when we see a lot of the era of hip hop, and then before hip hop we see the civil rights movement, we see all of those things, the innovation of the graffiti, the innovation of just different artwork from Black people here in America. Can fashion be a gateway to becoming a revolutionary activist?
It's really up to the person. It's all about the agenda that they have. Well, I wouldn't say in the beginning because you can always change your mind, but like to be a very, very powerful one, yeah, it can because fashion is gonna bring you money. First of all, like if you're doing it right, it's gonna bring you a lot of money. And if you have a good agenda and you know how to lead whatever you're trying to lead, you can do pretty much anything from fashion. For real. And if you choose to be a revolutionary activist, man, hey, you definitely would be able to lead probably a cult like following. You know what I'm saying? Because going back to another question, like the kids, that's what they seem to have already, cult like followings. Because they're high schools, a lot of the kids that they know, they're really supporting them. You know what I'm saying? So just like if you just like your question, if a kid is 18 and he has a school that's behind him, they buying a lot of his stuff and he's dropping messages in them and the people don't know, but they just wearing it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he could definitely turn that up once he gets his money up. If he has that in mind, by the time he's 21, he could be a very powerful force.
Most definitely. And, you know, for the people listening out there, that's definitely the direction they should go. You know, whatever you do, revolutionize it. You know, that's just what I figured. Like, whatever you do, revolutionize it. Have that revolutionary mindset, whatever you do, you know. And
And
I
like
feel
I
like
was saying earlier, you know, sometimes people take it to the extreme. They think when you say that word, it's like going out and going crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, just, you know, make it moderate, make it count, be intentional. You know what I'm saying? Know what it is you want, go for it. Because you can have it. They tell us, hey, this is America, the home of the free, land of the brave, land of the free, whatever. You know, that switches up, I guess, whenever they feel like it. Shit.
yeah, and this is our land too, and we got to reclaim it
Oh,
through all
it's
means,
definitely
you know,
out.
reparations, everything. Because you get them reparations, man, black folks will be creating all different type of business. All that BS nonsense that we'll go out and buy a whole bunch of Jordans and put the money right back in the white man's hand. Let's be honest. If we was going to do that, they would have been gave us reparations. We would have gave them back the money, and they would have said, you know, we gave you the reparations, you know. So, but now they know that people will go out and, like we're saying, revolutionize whatever that they do. People will go out, you know, that will put black people that already have these things in place. It will just elevate them to the next level. And they see what we can do even when they subjugate us. So imagine when we ain't gotta have all those things, all those obstacles in our way, the type of things we'd be able to create, and then on top of that have money, resources. It'd be a wrap. It'd be done. And that's why they know.
I feel like the United States is a game that they created. Like at some point they came and created a game, and every time we learn it, they switch it up. They switch up how it's played and all this shit. And they know like we're faster and faster on learning it. We're getting closer and closer. And man, they're wild, bro. Like they're liable to try to do something very, very strange in order for us not to run the world, bro. Like, and you know what I mean when I say that, but
yeah, because Kamala said it herself. She said, if I do something for black people, that will help the world. And then she, right after said that, will I do anything for black people? No. So basically she said, I'm not going to do nothing for black people. It's in particular because not only will they get better, but the world gets better. See, people that with that diabolical mindset, you know,
they don't want the world to get better, bro. No, Americans, they be trying to be a bully, man. They want to just keep the bullshit up. It's like that one friend that, you know, you calm them down sometimes, sit them in the corner, and every now and then they just act a fucking fool for no reason. Like, that's what we are as a country. You know what I'm saying? We fall into it because, like, we cool. You know what I'm saying? We be on some cool shit. We as a West Coast, maybe towards each other, we be on some unnecessary shit. But like as far as the rest of the world, we don't be tripping on people like that. But the Caucasian people of the United States, they ain't like us. They don't goddamn. They don't play fair with nobody, not even each other. Real.
Facts.
There's some sick people. And the crack, like what you were saying too, like, you know, being on the Diddy type of time, and like a lot of times they go and get people like him. They know like, hey man, the money is so many people that are just so caught up on money, and they look at certain people like, okay, he has this amount of money, I should look up to that person. Like that's kind of not smart because you don't know what these people be doing some egregious things. You feel me? So, yeah, man. I mean, it's basically back to what you saying. If they do it and they revolutionize it, you know, that's what's up. But if you do it and you ain't got no type of, it's just all for you and just you having fun, like, nah.
My brother, I appreciate you for blessing this platform. But before we go, is there any other gems you want to drop on the people? Let them know.
Yeah, man, I would just say be you, regardless. Like Nip say, you ain't crazy. That idea that you had, that thought that you had about you being the person that you know, see yourself to be, you ain't crazy. Just do it. Go out there and live your life. Don't hide. Let the world see what you got to offer. So, and yeah, like you told me to do my social medias too. Definitely check me out on Instagram, O_G_clothing and Phi_chief. That's FI_CHIEF. Yes, sir. And like you said, man, hey man, I appreciate you for having me because, you know, it's a great thing from one side to the next.
Yes, sir, my brother. No doubt we got to keep this revolution going all across America. You feel me? Like having all these different people in all these different places, having these connections and just building for the future is the key because, you know, that's what people did before without technology. So we be out here really lacking out here if we didn't build and create, you know, in honor of our ancestors who didn't have the accessibility of even forget social media and all of that. Just look at driving. Like when Harriet Tubman was freeing the slaves on the Underground Railroad, she didn't have a car, she didn't have a bus, you know, that she could load up, you know, people trying to free the plantation. She had to walk almost days in, days out, you know, to free people. So knowing that our ancestors have to do that, we understand that we definitely have to step up to the plate, especially because with social media and with all of the things that are, you know, helping us, all these different technological resources, we definitely got to keep this thing going. And I feel like people like yourself, people like myself, people like all the previous and future guests that I've had on my Power to the Powers podcast definitely prove that, you know, in a nutshell, that we are here and, you know, the revolution will be televised. That's fact.
Right.
Yes, my brother. So once again, I thank you. I appreciate your time. And family, once again, this has been another wonderful episode, Power to the Panthers podcast. And like we usually do at this time, Huey, take us.
Well, I came back to this country intending to stand trial because certain information had been revealed through the Freedom of Information Act on the conspiracies of the CIA to tear down the party, its character, and in particular. Now, I think it's absurd for me to go to trial on the eve of my preliminary and be involved in something that hundreds of Panthers. I've been back here 3 months, and I don't think I should be held responsible for the behavior of a person who happens to be a Panther, just as Carter is not responsible for every Democrat. So this person had said that has taken pictures with me. That's quite possible. Matter of fact, after I saw the picture in the paper, I remember casually speaking to this person. I don't know whether the person was an agent provocateur working for the police or else someone attempting to help me in a very unwise way.
Thanks for watching. This episode of Power to the Panthers podcast has been brought to you by Panther Prince Productions.